is joining us live from New Delhi. Mr. Shashank, welcome to the program. There seems to be a recurring tiff between India and Canada over an incident that happened in 2023. Despite the two prime ministers, like I mentioned, even meeting recently, what can make the two nations, that is India and Canada, come to an armistice? Who needs to do what?
Well, if you go through the Indian statement, it makes it very clear that the Canadian government of Prime Minister Trudeau has used the domestic compulsions in order to sully the image of India and India's diplomats. Because after all, we have a senior diplomat posted there who was earlier ambassador in Japan also. Mm-hmm. And nobody in his 36 years of service has always said that he would be a person of some interest to their intelligence agencies or investigating agencies. So I think intentionally Canada decided to, out of the blue, to raise the temperature and to create this kind of ruckus by blaming the Indian diplomats in Canada. Already we have seen that the Indian diplomats, the Indian religious and other community establishments have come under threats or come under pressure from graffiti writers and others. So therefore, there is a pressure on the security of the Indian interests in Canada. And therefore, Government of India has now decided that since the Canadian government officially is raising the temperature, so best way is to withdraw our senior diplomats from Canada. And I hear from you that just now, the Government of India has also asked 6 Canadian diplomats to leave India and return to their country.
Mr. Shashank, just briefly, going forward, because as you heard from our assistant editor for foreign affairs, he said that he's never seen such a breakdown before. The only breakdown that he's seen in relations is between India and Pakistan, but not India and a Western country like Canada. What impact will this have going forward?
I can't understand that this has been done intentionally from the Canadian government side. What could be the reason? I mean, there could be 3 or 4 reasons. One could be that, yes, there are domestic compulsions. They are making and breaking alliances among various political parties, and these parties which are by the Khalistani supporters, they are playing with all the different political parties, and I think there must be some internal domestic game which is going on among the political parties on this account. Secondly, could be that there are very large Palestinian and other Islamic interests in Canada, which have also been talking against the Israeli attacks in southern Lebanon and other Hamas interests. So therefore, for Canadians, it must be an embarrassment that while they want to show their solidarity with the Israelis, but they have people living in their country who are asking Israel to cut down on their military action. And third could be that the present Canadian government seems to be very friendly or under some kind of a threat after they had thrown the representative of the Chinese company Huawei in jail. I think now they are very concerned about the Chinese position. So they are trying to be very, very kind to China. Okay. And finally, of course, the Pakistani angle is always there, that they must be getting a lot of false information against India from the Pakistani side. So I think all these things, they perhaps felt that the softest target would be India. And therefore, they have taken this action against India out of the blue. After meeting our Prime Minister 3-4 days ago in the ASEAN meeting, where we were all trying to recommend the ASEAN way to all countries in the world to have a peaceful world. And here the Canadians are going in a completely different direction. And I think that this is really something which is very surprising, very worrying to the Indian public, that they have a large number of Indians working or studying in Canada. So will they be able to get security under the Canadian government?
We'll have to wait and see. Thank you. I've been talking to Mr. Shashank. He's a former Foreign Secretary of India. Mr. Shashank, thank you for your time and for talking to us today. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.